Please confirm if you if you hear me okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so share my screen. All right, so today we'll be looking at facility management strategy blueprints. Many of us are familiar with basic aspects of facility management, including especially the operations and maintenance aspects, but not many people understand how high you need to go in terms of strategic thinking and developing strategy within the facility management space. So that's what we're going to look at today. But as usual, I would like to just remind us of the current affairs, with Max-Migold facility management training, graduation ceremony for 2024, our biggest event for the year, on the 14th of December, Saturday 14th. So mark your calendar for it, register to attend. We are expecting all those who have not taken the FM Mastercraft before, whether you intend to take it or not, to please come around, have some fun, and hear from those who their careers have been transformed by the FM Mastercraft diploma, if you come on that day. So it's a very big event. We're going to be announcing the Alumni Ambassador Program. Come and hear what that is about and how exciting that will be. And a few other, fantastic, exciting announcements coming out on that day. On the 4th of January, we have our annual gathering of FM professionals or aspiring to be FM professionals for the free training, the annual free training. We call that the Giving Back Series. The 2025 edition, holding on the 4th of January, Saturday, is going to focus on what we used to do, which is FM introduction, but also this time we're going to give half of that day to career development. It's going to be an opportunity for you to come, rub minds, reappraise how your career is going, and rethink what you probably thought regarding career development and the path available for progress. So it's a session that everybody can attend. We will be having just 100 seats. There will be no virtual opportunity, and the session starts at 9 a.m. So come with your friends as quickly as possible, take positions. When the hall is full, we are closed. But there will be a recording. So those who are unable to make it on time will be informed. So if you register for it and you can't make it on time, don't worry. We will have a recording of it on our YouTube channel that you can also use to go through what we've done for the day. So it's going to be an exciting day for us as well. So look forward to that. The next FM Mastercraft Diploma is going to start on the 3rd of February. Okay, so we want everyone to prepare for that date. It's always a good thing to start the year on a high. Prepare for what you're going to do, the kind of progress you're going to make, and don't wait, to run in through the year before you start taking such actions. I know the festivities are coming. And many people just forget about their future and go into merriment. Moderate it and prepare yourself to participate for the FM Mastercraft diploma if you've not. So those are the announcements we have. All exciting stuff. We hope to have a grand entry into the next year and do exploits with you by our sides. Today, the FM launch hour is going to be talking about the facility management strategy blueprint. My name is Paul Erubami, your regular anchor on this Thursday afternoon fiesta. I hope you sit back and enjoy the ride. We are also finalizing the arrangements to ensure that you all get the slides. For now, all the videos are available to you on YouTube, including many more courses that we have taught that you can just freely play back and enjoy. But for the slides, we'll set them up and have them available. I believe the team is still working on this. We'll give you more information and email to share this information and have you access them will be sent out. So today we're going to look at the whole importance of the F strategy in achieving organizational goals. We're going to look at the components, the various actionable strategies, utilizing of data-driven approaches and innovation in the path of FM strategies. But I'm going to be showing you the strategic framework, the FM strategic framework, what the FM should know at a strategic level, because we say FM is practiced at the strategy, practical, and operational levels. There are 3 levels. Strategic level is the highest level. That's where the FM operates as a business leader, where the FM operates as a unit head, where the FM operates as a member of the management team. If the FM has somebody in the C-suite, then that person is operating at a strategic level. And they have a tactical FM, which is at the level of budgeting, contracting, repairs and renovations, operations and maintenance. And then you now have the operational level, which is the shop floor, the day-to-day execution of the plans made at the tactical level. While tactical level plans are 1-year plans, the operational level planning are 1 week, daily, weekly, monthly kinds of plan that breaks down what needs to be done into actionable steps. Okay. So first thing to consider, how does a facility that you use, come to be? It starts from conceptualization. The planning stage is where the investors, owners articulate exactly what they want. There has to be a need, an opportunity, a problem to be solved, whatever it is that drives that vision to invest in that facility is done at the planning stage. But it's not just enough to say, build me a hospital, build me a school. No, planning also requires that there's a breakdown of high-level expectations in terms of what it should be, what we call the key deliverables. So how many people are going to serve, what class of people are going to serve, how much space are we supposed to create, what kind of services will be deployed, what kind of technology will be, all the visionary thoughts about the facility is done at the planning stage. Then we go into the design. It's at design, you now take those words that come out of the brief and produce at the planning stage, and then you begin to ink it into design, into the way it should look when done, including all the instructions, all the engineering instructions, specifications from the QSs. All of these are all part of design. Design is not just architectural. Everything that helps to flesh out the idea from planning is part of that design. So you have the base of quantities, you have the design drawings, you have the architectural drawings, mechanical, electrical, structural, all of the related drawings to, visualize, specify, and then itemize the kind of work that needs to be done. So coming out of this stage too is the contract, right? Where you have, the team that's going to build, or the project management plan as well. Construction is the process of converting the contract, the design drawings, the bills of quantities into an actual. So you visualize them on all of those documents, and it's now time to bring it to reality. That's what construction does. During construction, you carry out two key processes: testing and commissioning. Testing checks that installed equipment or assets or components have been installed well and that they function well. So it's a test for functionality. There are operating parameters, designed for every assets, equipment, infrastructural components that are built into a building. So that's what you test for, those operating parameters, whether they're in order. And then you commission by checking for adequacy. There is a design intention. There is an original owner's idea, vision, and expectation that was produced at the planning stage. You use commissioning to verify that all the assets and equipment and spaces being built, as well as the service being designed for it, are all going to be able to provide those, meet those requirements. And then handing over is a documentation process. Documentation is not keys, not ribbon, not commissioning, or all those things we hear on TV. That's not a documentation of everything that we have captured in documents, from planning to design to construction to testing and commissioning. So the brief from planning, all the various designs, the contrast, bits of quantities from design, construction set of drawings, again, all variations and all of the risk, and as well as the snags and all the other items that come out of construction, then all the way to the testing templates, the results achieved for every testing activity. And then you have the commissioning, where initial use and loading and capacity is being verified and documented. So all of these are handed over to facility management. So when you want to manage the facility, we say you must have asset register, you must have operations and maintenance manual, you must have all of those things. They are supposed to come from this process, right? It's only when you don't have them, when this whole process is not well followed, because the FM was absent, to be able to have an input on how things are, how documents are compiled. He may lose out, at the end of the day with, either on usable documents or no documents at all with which he needs to prepare for his operations and maintenance. So what does he do? He now needs to reverse engineer the process, which means you need to create an asset register. You need to develop an as-built drawings by measuring and drawing and counting and writing and checking nameplates and recording and so on and so forth, so you can get the proper information that you need to manage the facility. And that cycle goes on because the buildings will have a useful life. At some point, they will stop being functional, right? They become dilapidated, they become unusable, they become structurally unsound. And your decision should either be to take them down and replace, or to refurbish and strengthen structurally so you can give it more life. So that is a continuous cycle that facilities go through. Now, but in the delivery process of this cycle, from planning, designing, construction, testing, commissioning, handover, and facility management, the FM ought to be involved as someone who provides an input at every level. So this is where strategic facility planning means a lot. So when we say FM should be involved, FM should be involved. If the FM is not able to contribute until handover has happened, his presence or her presence in the whole process from planning to design, construction, testing, commissioning is useless. So what are the things the FM should be aware of to be able to contribute so that it can be relevant to all of these stages? Nobody wants to give you a chair that you just keep busy and you don't add any value to what they're doing there. You go to site meetings and you don't have a clue what they're talking about. So listen up. At the planning stage, issues of capacity, how many should we, how much space, what kind of services, what kind of provision should we have? Because of your experience in understanding the facilities you have managed. So experience comes in here. You need to know how to specify. Somebody can say, oh, let's do something for 1,000, right? But in your experience, how has 1,000 helped? How has 1,000 served in the past? Just give me a second, please. Sorry. So that's the first thing: capacity, specification of requirements, and all of those things that is required to be captured. For example, there are some facilities that are built and core requirements are captured, but because there was no programming, which should have happened at design stage, operational requirements were not captured. The FM can contribute that information in here. At design stage, operational readiness should be built into design. So what's operational readiness? When a facility is being transitioned from construction to operations and maintenance, what are the processes that will be deployed? How will cleaners operate? How will maintenance crews operate? They are all put here. So accessibility, for example, availability of spares, because you can specify the wrong things that people cannot find to replace. So FMs can contribute, maintainability, sustainability considerations, operational readiness considerations. FMs understand degradation curves, how things, wear and tear over time. So when you want to use a plastic part for something, an FM may be concerned about, how durable that is and how accessible it is to replace it, if you want to buy something cheap, for example. So there are areas where you finish building and damp and heat is causing cracks. Sometimes you finish, designing some kind of foundations, and then at the end of the day, rising damp and moisture becomes an issue. So an FM should be able to contribute all that information during the design phase, especially during programming when user expectations are being gathered. The FM is most invaluable at this stage, right? To be able to guide this process so that no user requirement is left in the programming process. Then during construction, what does the FM contribute during construction? The FM is supposed to be here to observe, right? It may not be the one enforcing that specifications that have been agreed to are being implemented, but it needs to record all of those changes, especially the changes that could end up, solving one problem at one end and creating another problem at another end for another skill or another component of the building. FM pays attention to that. FM at this stage begins to gather data on, because as the changes are happening, as build drawings are changing, bills of quantities are changing, right? So these, and then the variations and changes that are being made to the construction is being captured so that they are properly updated. So that's some of the things. And then in addition to this, you have all of the contractual obligations. Oh, we'll buy this. This is very high grade. And then all of a sudden, we don't have it. We're going to use something more, less sophisticated or less quality, and so on and so forth. The FM needs to be able to participate in value and end value analysis during the construction phase to give best value to the owner. And then there are so many other things, like you need to capture all the incidents, all the issues, all the risks that came up during the project. They're documenting them, but you need to be familiar with them because many of these items will come to haunt you during your operations and maintenance phase. Something gets blocked and 2 plus 2, you remember when something happened during construction, what could have been causing it, and you know exactly where to look for the problem because you were there, you experienced it during construction. So your presence, even if it's once a week, just for the site meeting and site inspections, just to look at what's going on, is very important during construction. And then during testing, you are supposed to be the custodian of all of those operating parameters and the test that shows which operating parameters during testing fell within range or fell out of range. Because those that fell out of range should go into defect repairs before you even get into a snag list period. Because most manufacturers, producers, construction teams will be happy to be quiet about things that you can't easily observe because you were not there. So during testing, pay attention, make sure the right information is recorded in the testing template and receive all of this as a custodian. And then commissioning. Commissioning is mostly a facility activity because it requires loading the building. So it's either you're going to actually start using it and recording user operations results, speed of evacuation, for example, overflows in certain things, heat when the AC is on, people are feeling uncomfortable, being able to observe and gather all those information to just complete that commissioning. And again, commissioning does not even end at construction. So it's something that an FM that's continuously, tracking data on adequacy and the meeting of the needs of the building users would definitely be continuously doing commissioning. So all of the things that it's now time to hand over to the FM. I don't want to be the one responsible for creating the O&M manual because that's something that should come from those who build. You put tiling on the floor, tell me what kind of tiles it is, what kind of maintenance it needs, what kind of frequency for each of those maintenance activities. You put some paint on the wall, tell me what kind of paint it is, tell me what kind of maintenance it requires, and so on. Those are all the things that go into operations and maintenance manual. So it's really not the FM's specialty or its position to create O&M manuals. But as soon as if you don't have it, then it becomes a difficult problem. So if you are there and you know that the company is not probably paying for them to produce all these manuals and documentation, then you now think for yourself, how can I participate in this process? Have either a clerk of works or you and one assistant just take all the records before they bury and cover things up, note, take pictures and save. Because one day you will need to dig up those things and see exactly what is there. So if there's a blockage or you're trying to check which of the chambers things flow into and you don't have accurate drawings of these, you open up all the chambers and manholes, and that's a disaster that happens every day in FM. And then you're handed over documents, asset documents, permits, licenses, contracts, connection, documentation for utilities and the rest. All these are handed over to you. A lot of documents, there's a huge list, and then you start doing the effort. So when you now take over, you're not a stranger to the building. These are all part of strategic process for managing building life cycle. Now, let's talk about the big picture. This is you serving as an FM for an organization. Typically, the FM will be interested in all the operations, maintenance, budgeting, design and construction plans. And many FMs do this as all they do all their lives. Oh, we're very good. We've done budget for next year. We're very effective. We have operations and maintenance plans. We have tracking mechanism. You're operating from the tactical planning level down to execution, measurement level, and feedback level. Well, no feedback. If you don't have the strategic purpose, strategic planning, and business unit strategic planning level, you are missing out on why you are doing the things you are doing at the tactical planning level. Because at the tactical planning level, you are deciding on what will I do? How much will I spend? When will I do it? Who will do it? Those are what you are deciding on at the tactical planning level. But before you start deciding on what, you must already know why. And that's what the strategic level gives you. Why does my organization exist? That's what the strategic purpose level answers. And that takes you into looking at the kind of customers you have, their preferences, why they buy and patronize the organization. Who are they? And how can you, as an FM, respond to provisions that the organization is going to provide or put in place to ensure that the customers are served well? If the customers are not there, does the organization have any essence? No, it's dead and gone, right? So the FM needs to understand the strategic purpose level. You know, if you serve a bank, for example, as an FM, and the bank is now so heavily digital, and you are still heavily invested in decorating branches, for example, and there are very few people that ever come to the branches. That is a strategic misalignment, except there is something the bank as a strategy wants to achieve by keeping those branches and keep them in top shape for the one person or two that comes in every hour. Then you must focus on the digital solutions, the servers, the powering, the cooling of those spaces where the services are being provided digitally, where the IT post sits, all the provisions they need to ensure that there's no downtime on digital space. All of those you pay attention to, because you now know that our customers are 95% here and 5% there. I'll still maintain the 5%, but my key focus now is making sure there's no downtime, where the customers are. And that's exactly what the organization is trying to do. The organization is trying to create entire organization strategy plans, what we call the corporate strategy, to respond directly to customer demands and customer needs, right? We call that the strategic planning level. And this is organization-wide. Some FMs have risen to the level where they are in this strategic planning, but most FMs are operating at a level below the C-suite. All right. And if every other head of all the other organizations or departments or business units are represented in the C-suite, the FM is expected to also have, its head in the C-suite, which is the executive level committee of the organization. Now, so what does the FM now do? So if the organization creates its own mission, vision, values, culture, and strategic objectives, the FM needs to replicate this just like every other business unit. So the organization has 5 objectives. Want to achieve this, achieve that, 5 objectives, for example, right? All the other business units will pick a few or all and say, we will contribute towards this objective. The FM does not only contribute towards the objective of the organization, the corporate strategy, but also contributes to every business unit. So you need to have double alignment, double understanding. Alignment with the corporate, alignment with all the business units. Understanding of the corporate, understanding of all the business units. You are there as a strategic enabler of their success. If the business unit succeeded, it's because you provided them the impetus, you provided them the means to succeed. If you don't understand what they are trying to achieve, how they are trying to contribute to the corporate goals and strategies, you won't be able to know exactly what you provide to get them to do that. So in terms of spaces, services, utilities, all of the comfort, convenience, safety, security, health, and well-being that you provide, it is supposed to, don't see it as the things you do on a day-to-day. Let there be a bigger why you do them. You are doing them because you want people to be healthy, you want them to be well, you want them to be able to drive for and achieve their goals, and as such, the organization achieves its goal. And so in your own department, you are also mirroring the goals of the organization, mirroring the expectations from senior management, creating programs and initiatives that helps you contribute effectively to these initiatives. And you are doing the same thing with all the business units, drawing information from them, understanding what they need, recommending things that can also help them enhance their productivity and their results. So FMs operate at multiple levels when it comes to strategic planning. So the process is very simple. Understand the organization, understand the business units. And to understand them, the kind of customers they have, the kind of mission, vision, and values and goals, financial perspective and performance, customer knowledge, internal business process, learning and growth. All that the head of that department or the MD or chairman of the organization knows about the organization and where they are going. You take your time to become immersed in those information because you will need them to make right decisions when the time comes. So you use analytical techniques to analyze all the information you have received so that you can be able to explore possible futures for the organization, even at your level, and then come up with your department's response to such scenarios as part of your analysis. And then, of course, once you've created, if this happens, we will do this. If we do, so we're trying to get here at point A, we could go through B or go through C, right? If the conditions favor B, the organization will go through B. And if the organization goes through B, these are the features of B. We will provide plans to meet these expectations on the path through B to point A, right? So that's the way to think. So you plan. As you develop the plan, you begin to take actions, and that is what happens at the tactical stage. So in essence, you are trying to align FM activities with the organization's goals to optimize resources and improve performance. Strategic planning in FM ensures a proactive approach to managing facilities, anticipating needs and addressing challenges effectively. Integrates key aspects such as sustainability, technology, operational efficiency into FM operations, and it helps organizations reduce costs, enhance productivity, and support business continuity. Strategic planning fosters collaboration across teams, and this is very important because it makes us to sit down and think about several years ahead. So whatever plans come out of that strategy, because we're part of the strategic planning process, we own it. We communicate freely and we act in ways that helps us achieve the goals. Now, when the FM is integrated into everything the organization does, you help to optimize resource use. There will be no duplication, there will be no wastage. The departments and business units will focus on their core business, knowing fully well that they don't have to worry about the impetus to succeed, the things that they need around them to be able to succeed, because the FM will directly address the needs of the core business as well as the business units. Effective alignment helps organizations adapt to changing market demands while maintaining operational excellence. So the core business will stay focused. It starts with having proper objectives. I now know what the organization's objectives are. I need to create my own set of objectives. But to do that, I need a gap analysis, which starts with, I understand the organization's objectives, future, or vision, right? I understand where the organization is now. I have a sense of what direction the organization is going to take to get to its objectives. I now need to create my own solutions that helps to speed up and align with that part of the organization. I'm not creating a plan that prescribes for the organization. We don't prescribe for our customers. We understand our customers having issues with their customers and saying their customers don't understand. FM know, but FM does not know better. Meet the needs of our clients, but we must understand what those needs are. We cannot impose solutions when we have not spent time understanding what the needs are. So talking about sustainability, this is another key aspect of FM's contribution to organization success. Embed eco-friendly practices to minimize environmental impacts. Leverage advanced technologies for efficient facility operations. Proactively identify and mitigate potential risk. Align sustainability goals with organizational objectives and utilizing data-driven insights for informed decision-making. I keep talking about this these data-driven insights, data-centric approaches, data focus as facility managers focus. But you see, we often pay lip services to data. When you're still struggling to do basic multi-level metering for water and energy consumption, let alone count the number of people that come into your building, let alone measure the temperatures internally at different times when different number of people were in the building, let alone measure how many liters of water is being consumed at a particular time when a certain number of people are in the building. All of those are metrics that you get from data. But if you didn't install the meters, you didn't put a scale to measure the weight of refuse you are taking out, you've not had any data in that regard, and you are talking about sustainability, and one day you want to do recycling, based on what? Even the budgets that we create from year to year, those budgets are, blind man leading blind, one-eyed man leading the blind situation. Because at the end of the day, we are not driving our actions and decisions based on the data from things that we have gathered the information about. So start by understanding your current facility operations, identify the improvement areas, define clear objectives. They have to be aligned with the organizational goals. Conduct stakeholder analysis to understand needs and expectations. This is key to this whole process. Every department, every aspect or angles in the organization need to be talked to, either structured or unstructured interviews and surveys and interactions. You must document their requirements. And then you create an actionable roadmap with timelines and resources. And then you don't create a plan without having a set of metrics to monitor and evaluate how effective that strategy is. So the FM department creates its own goals out of its understanding of the organization's goals. So every time you act, every time you come up with an initiative, you have to keep measuring to track and see if the things you do on a day-to-day is adding value to the things you intended, things you planned, which you got from the corporate objectives, because you've aligned your FM objectives with the corporate objectives. So data is everything. Utilize data analytics to monitor facility performance and identify trends, setting and tracking key performance indicators to measure success, making informed decisions based on real-time and historical data insights, identifying areas for cost savings and efficiency improvements through analytics, driving continuous improvement by evaluating data-driven outcomes regularly. There's so many ways to push for data and use data in making decisions. And then if you don't have data, you also can't benchmark. You cannot compare because in terms of output, in terms of results, you can tell what is different between yourself and others that are doing the same business or in your industry, right? So you can see that they are doing better than us. But for you to tap into what they are doing and see if it will add value to you, you need to specifically have data about how you are deriving the results you are getting, so that you can use that data to benchmark how they are deriving the results they are getting. Because if you don't have data, you don't have data, there's no way for benchmarking, there's no way for continuous improvement. The same thing is, happens to reporting, performance management, improvements. They all just be flat dead if you don't have data to support whatever initiative you an idea up and start executing it without having a proper analysis of where you're coming from and the likely change in trajectory that this initiative will give to the organization. And then there are quite a few emerging trends that impact FM strategies, FM data acquisition, and so on and so forth. AI is one of them. AI, machine learning of FM operations. If you have all the sensors in place, smart building features in place, this AI sets to work, because what it does is understand human patterns, understand human activity, right? And acts in such autonomous ways to provide the best value to the individuals using the spaces. Smart building technologies, they not only increase efficiency of energy consumption, they also provide user satisfaction and comfort. Sustainability and green building practices is top on the agenda in most parts of the world, and Nigeria is not left out. Shift towards flexible and hybrid workspace design. This is a trend that is moving our offices, our workplaces, closer and closer to our homes, now into our homes, so that you now have a good 10-20% of the population having both home and office at the same place, right? So when that starts happening, in addition to the hybrid workplace designs and all of these new features, the FM begins to think about its scope. You have to manage the workplace, wherever that workplace is. So start thinking about what kind of well-being contributions or improvements can be made in people's homes, ergonomic chairs, for example, power provision, internet provision, and things that can make them also have work-life balance. Because when you work at home, sometimes it looks as if you're at home, but you're really not at home and you're working a lot more. Okay, and then enhance focus and service. Technology is becoming so abundantly available, but so is the risk of being hacked and being shut out of your own space, and all kinds of ransom situations if we don't have proper cybersecurity provisions in place when adopting technology. So that's one of the major downsides of adopting technology. And then we must prepare for the future. We must prepare for what's coming. FMs cannot continue to live in the past. We have to embrace advanced technologies like Internet of Things and AI and ML, adopt predictive maintenance practice to enhance equipment longevity. We tend to, for the things we do preventive for, we don't, do any additional analysis on the data we are gathering. If you analyze the data you are gathering, you will get a sense of ailing equipment way before it is physically observable. Integrating renewable energy solutions to meet sustainability goals. This is very important. I usually don't advocate that you just switch from your unsustainable energy sources like fossil fuels into renewable without doing an energy efficiency audit and cleansing of your system from all wastage. Because if you go and adopt a renewable energy mix into your facility or just replace with renewable energy, you might end up funding the waste in your system with more expensive energy sources, which is something we must all do what we can to avoid. And then the skills of those who manage facilities needs to be improved. There needs to be more training, more qualifications. And that's why when Max-Migold developed the FM Mastercraft Diploma, it not only teaches you, it also gives you two opportunities for practical experiences, one during field trips and the other during the internship that you go to if you don't have a job. And then for those who have a job and those who have places where they can do their project, that's a huge experience you gain practically developing those FM tools and systems from existing buildings that you do as part of a project. So if you fully understand your organization's strategy and you want to create an FM strategy, consider these two outputs that's expected of you. One is the strategic facility plan, which we call the portfolio plan. The portfolio plan is a set of rules and guidelines that governs how real estate, property, facility management decisions are taken in the organization, where to build, kind of financial metrics to look out for, decisions that have to do with sustainability, procurement, operating expenses analysis, all of these high-level decisions that once they are made, it's like a manual that guides development of every site. And then the second output is the master plan, the facility master plan. The facility master plan is more like the site plan. It's for one location. It captures everything about that location. It gives a long-term view of planning for that location. So how spaces will be allocated, how services will be run in and out, how people will do their job, the relationship between department to department, business unit to business units, and so on and so forth. All of those come into the facility master plan. So you thought about what's in the strategic facility plan, and you decided on locating a branch, a building, a head office, or something at a particular location. Right. Once that is in place, you now talk about the long-term strategic planning for that site. That's what the facility master plan is. Every decision you need to make, you need to go check back again at the strategic facility plan to see if there is alignment. If there's alignment, then good. That is the document that you use to document corporate strategy and objectives, so that everything you are doing in the FM department is aligned and focused. Okay. So that's our session for today. FM strategies must evolve continuously to address changing technologies, sustainability demands, and operational challenges. Staying proactive and innovative ensures that the FM professional remains competitive and responsive to future trends. A well-executed strategy can enhance the overall effectiveness and cost efficiency, sustainability of facility operations. Collaboration and ongoing learning are key to adapting to the future of facility management. Preparing for the future through strategic planning and technology adoption is crucial for long-term success in facility management. So this is all I will talk about. Don't forget, we talked about the big picture where we looked at the strategic framework as developed by IFMA, where you come from the customers to the corporates to the business unit. So there are 3 levels of strategies above what you do on a day-to-day basis, and then so that's the tactical and then the operational level. So there's a lot for FMs to do to upgrade themselves and move beyond, move above the mundane and the day-to-day and start thinking of higher level, ideas, things that, you can do at the bottom, guided by decisions you make at the top to get the things you do better. So that's all for today. I know I muted everybody just to prevent the noise. So if you have a question, I am going to allow participants to be able to speak now. Okay, so I have very few people in here. Looks like most people are on the YouTube channels today. So if there are chats of questions on YouTube and other channels where we've gone live, please pick them up and bring them to the chat on Zoom so that we can address them on air. Looks like we've had a good time. So I look forward to see you again next week, Thursday. We'll keep this running. I hope you have a good rest of the week. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, Sindiswa, for your comments, and I hope to see you again in the next